RPE is useless for strength training if you're using it the way that most guys in the gym use it. A surprising amount of guys in the gym actually have no idea how to properly use RPE. And I've seen so many videos of strength coaches or fitness influencers who criticize the RPE scale. I listen to what they say and they don't even know how to use the scale properly. So in this video, I'm going to tell you the mistakes that you've probably been making with RPE in your training, and then I'll tell you how to properly use it so that you can actually get strong and hit a bunch of PRs in the gym. Now, if you want me to review your training program, write you something individualized and get you strong, top link in the description, you can hire me as your personal strength coach, or second link if you want to run some good strength training programs that use RPE properly. So let's get straight into it. I've seen a bunch of videos of people criticizing RPE. Now, if you don't know what RPE is, it simply stands for rate of perceived exertion. It's a 1 through 10 scale. An RPE 10 would mean failure. You could not do any more weight, any more reps. RPE 9 means you had 1 rep in reserve. RPE 8 means you had 2 reps in reserve, so on and so forth. So the scale started out, it was designed by Gunnar Borg. It was used for like cardio-based training. Then Mike Tuchscherer adapted it to be used for resistance training. And a few years ago, I actually wrote my master's thesis on RPE. As it relates to resistance training, I had like a 25,000 word report that I wrote specifically on RPE, and I even did my own study where we tested average concentric velocity, so bar speed, and how it relates to RPE. Basically, I wanted to figure out, can people rate RPE accurately? So the main criticism that I see of the RPE scale is that a lot of these old school strength coaches, they will say your feelings are a lie, or guys can't properly rate their feelings, and that's why RPE isn't useful. The big problem with that criticism is RPE is not a feeling scale. If you're using it as a feeling scale, you're using it wrong, because the RPE scale is used as an objective measure of reps in reserve. The guy who created this scale for resistance training, Mike Tuchscherer, says this himself. I'll put a screenshot on screen. RPE for resistance training is meant to measure reps in reserve. It's not a feeling scale. So when we say RPE 9, RPE 8, we're not saying an 8 out of 10 difficulty or a 9 out of 10 difficulty. We're saying 1 rep in reserve, 2 reps in reserve. If you're not using the scale in that way, you're using a different scale to the one that was created for resistance training. That's not a bad thing, but it means we're not even talking about the same scale. So RPE is an objective measure of reps in reserve. If we understand that, then we can properly use the scale to determine intensity in our training program. And I'll tell you how to properly use the scale so that you can improve your program and actually get strong. So I would recommend that you use the RPE scale in this way. First things first, I recommend that a lot of guys, when they train for strength, they use a top set back off approach. What I mean by that is we train the squat, bench press, and deadlift frequently using heavy top sets. Then we do our volume work a bit more submaximal. So I recommend that you are doing frequent top sets of 1 to 3 reps at 80% and above of your 1 rep max. This is our skill practice. It's our low velocity force production. It's the heavy weight on the bar, the doubles, singles, triples that actually allows us to express our adaptations and get good at the skill of performing a 1 rep max. So those top sets I would base on RPE. So oftentimes what I would do when I'm setting up someone's training block, week 1, they might have a singular RPE 7. Week 2, RPE 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9, just as an example, okay? I like using an ascending RPE scheme so the intensity increases through a block, just because it allows people to kind of build momentum into the block, gradually accumulate them to more training stress. And I would use RPE in that way for the top sets because, one, it allows us to kind of adjust intensity based on each day, based on the individual's preparedness, because sometimes you're strong, sometimes you're not, based on a wide variety of factors outside of the gym, like sleep, stress, hydration, all these different things. Secondly, it gives us a bit of a barometer of your daily performance, because if you hit 100 kilos on week 1 for an RPE 7, and then on week 2 it's an RPE 6, we know that you made progress without even needing to change the load on the bar. So I would prescribe those top sets using RPE, and it's important to keep in mind that we are estimating reps in reserve here. So if we're doing a top set, let's say we do a top double at an RPE 7, that means 2 reps with 3 reps left in reserve. So you're basically doing a 5 rep max for 2 reps. It's not a 7 out of 10 effort, it's reps in reserve, okay? Now, one important note to kind of disclaimer alongside this, lower RPEs naturally will be a bit more difficult to rate. So I would say anything below like an RPE 7 is quite difficult. So if we're doing top sets at like RPE 5, RPE 6, those will be a little bit more challenging to accurately rate the RPE. But I will say it doesn't really matter if you're 100% accurate. We care more about your consistency from week to week. So for example, if you rate an RPE 5 and the bar speed's really slow, and then on week 2 you do an RPE 5 and the bar speed's really fast, we have a problem. Your RPE score wasn't consistent from week to week. So we don't want 100% accuracy, we just want consistency in your ratings week to week. And obviously if you use this ascending approach where you go like RPE 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or something like that, by the time you get to the RPE 9s, you'll have a better gauge of where failure is. It'll kind of anchor your RPE ratings. And then when you move into the next block, you can look back and see, right, I lifted 225 pounds at an RPE 5 last block. So this block, I'm probably going to be somewhere around 230, maybe 235 pounds. And naturally, your ratings will just improve over time. So I do the top sets based on RPE. For the back off sets, or for your volume work, I often prescribe these based on a percentage of estimated 1 rep max. So we do the top set, we log it. If you're a client of mine, my coaching spreadsheets have formulas that will give you an estimated 1 rep max for each exercise on each day. We then take a percentage of that for the volume work. I often program volume work in the 60 to 75% range for sets of 4 to 6 reps. Very easy sets. The reason I base them on a percentage is because they're so light that having an RPE score there, it wouldn't really be effective because it's very difficult to rate RPEs that low. A lot of these back off sets, they're going to be producing like 5 to even 10 plus reps in reserve. So it's very difficult to rate RPE. What you can do though, if you wanted to rate an RPE score for that, because I have my clients attach an RPE to their back off sets, then I would treat it as an effort out of 10 kind of thing. So obviously if we're doing a set of 4 at 70%, you might put down an RPE 4 or 5, but that doesn't mean true reps in reserve of 4 or 5. It just means a 4 to 5 out of 10 effort, if that makes sense. So we are using it in that way for back off volume. We're kind of adapting the scale in a different way. We're using the true scale as it's intended for the top sets, and then we're using kind of a modified version for the back off sets. Or if you prefer, you can just put on like an RPE range or an RPE cap. So I might tell my clients, do 4 sets of 5 at 70%, and it's capped at an RPE 5, for example. So you don't go beyond 5 reps in reserve. You basically stay under that threshold. I think that's a good way to communicate it. Now for accessories and for bodybuilding work, so if you think about things like your curls, your tricep push downs, rows, lat pull downs, all these different things, this is where I think guys mess up with RPE the most, because all the time I see guys running bodybuilding programs or something, and they'll be doing, let's say, cable bicep curls for 3 sets of 10 at an RPE 8. And I see them do it, and their reps are this fast. Even the final rep of the set is that fast. But then they tell me, oh, like my biceps were on fire, it was really burning, I had a massive pump. And the problem is that doesn't matter. Like if you're training for muscle growth, we don't want to focus on a pump, a burn, a squeeze. We want to focus on proximity to failure. Hypertrophy is very dependent on how close you get to failure. So if I'm writing on the program an RPE 9 or an RPE 8 for accessory work, I really mean 1 or 2 reps left in reserve. I want to see the final reps really slow, really grindy, really like losing velocity when we get close to failure. So try and dissociate these ideas. It does not mean an 8 or 9 out of 10 effort. It means 1 to 2 reps in reserve. Keep it more objective, okay? Now, if I could give you any pro tip for RPE, because I know a lot of guys struggle with rating RPE accurately, especially when they're new to the scale. So again, I would keep in mind that our goal isn't 100% accuracy. If I give you a top set, let's say a top double and RPE 5, it doesn't mean 100% you have to have 5 reps in reserve. I'm communicating to you that I want you to be around that kind of intensity where we have 5 reps in reserve. Obviously, ideally, you would have exactly 5 reps in reserve in a perfect world, but it's not going to happen. It's hard to rate lower RPEs. Now, when we progress through the block and we get to like an RPE 9 or an RPE 10, then yes, I would like to see the accuracy be very close to 100%, because that set is hard enough that you should know how many reps you've got in reserve. And that's exactly why I like using this ascending model, because it gives you exposure to kind of the whole spectrum of RPE ranges, so you get an idea of how to rate it more accurately. The other tip I can give you is that I would try and be objective. Record yourself on video or get friends to watch you as well, because if you're rating your set at like an RPE 8, RPE 9, you're saying it's really hard, you've only got 1 or 2 reps left in reserve, and then I watch your video and the bar speed is flying, we've got a bit of an issue there. So I would try and record yourself regularly, watch the video, and then use that to kind of improve your RPE scores. The final thing I would say as well, if you're rating RPE, do it immediately after the set. So do your set, like do your single, do your double, rack the bar, and then straight away ask yourself, how many more reps could I do? Don't ask how hard was that or how difficult out of 10, just how many more reps could you do? Write that down. So if you could do 3 more reps, it was RPE 7, 2 more reps, it was RPE 8, and so on and so forth, okay? And if you're really invested in your training, you really care about like getting stronger, making your RPEs accurate and stuff like that, you can even use a velocity tracker, like a linear position transducer. So they measure the velocity of the barbell. That's what I did in my master's degree study, where it will literally tell you the speed of the barbell, the velocity on the upwards phase. And then you can even make yourself a chart where you correlate like my RPE 10 equals this velocity, RPE 9 equals this velocity, and then you can track that during your session. So that could be an easy way to kind of guarantee your RPE scores. So thanks so much for watching this video. I really hope that it helps you to kind of understand RPE a little bit better and to improve your programming. If you need a free program to run, go ahead, steal my free one. You can use that. It incorporates RPE in lots of different ways. If you want me to write you a custom program, top link in the description. If you have any questions and comments on RPE, post them in the comment section down below. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video.